Okay, this is me replying to a comment on a Lauren Ash astrology post. She is a fellow autistic astrologer here on TikTok who I respect a whole lot. And if you don't know her content, you really should check it out. Hopefully, this comment can lead you back to her profile. I'm not good at TikTok. I'm a long form girly. I be on YouTube. YouTube at Vagina Jenkins if you're curious. Okay, so Lauren had posted this chart of aspect patterns. They're basically like aspects of the relationship between all the different planets in your astrology chart. You know, how they're talking to each other, interacting, how you interpret that for your life. And then these aspect patterns are shapes that come up over and over again, and we've noticed some patterns about that. And by we, I mean the centuries of astrologers that came before me across cultures, across time. Yeah. And I said something about the Mystic Rectangle because it's one of the most it's one of the more interesting personality types that I've seen in astrology. Okay, if these are color coded aspects where the red is more challenging and the green is more beneficial, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it depends on the planets, but let's just go with that theory for now. What you see right in the middle of this box is uh, a great source of tension. Two oppositions, literally planets looking at each other 180 degrees face to face, going, yo, what's up? All surrounded by these more beneficial aspects, these longer lines, which are trines, which is the most supportive aspect, and these shorter green lines, which are sextiles, which is also a supporting aspect. And of course, this depends on the placements, the planetary placements that are involved in making this shape. But what I tend to see with this aspect pattern playing out in someone's chart is this person who has a great deal of inner tension, particularly inner tension between be- this is why I am not a short form girly, because there's quadrants in a chart. There's the day and the night half, the self and the other half. But yeah, these oppositions are going to be between one of those two halves, the self, the other, what I want to keep private, what I want to share publicly. But everything in green on the outside is presenting a facade. A facade of having my shit together, a facade of being a perfect, happy-go-lucky sort of person. And maybe facade is not necessarily the best word for this, but it's definitely a container for this tension instead of an expression of the tension. And so I see this with my clients that are often like really talented people or really well thought of people in the public eye. And then we get into the chart reading, and there's a whole heap of tension that they never talk about, but that is there just seething under the surface. And so when I see this trend here on TikTok where people are like, hey, here's my chart, tell me what you think of it, and a person has a mystic rectangle, I always have a little chuckle because I'm like, child, did you mean to show us your dirty drawers?